This is your daily market recap for Saturday, July 8th, 2023. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at XP Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your weekend market review for Saturday, July 8th, 2023. Hopefully you had a good week. So far, everything's going well. Nice shortened week last week. Let's get into it. A lot of stuff coming up. We have CPI, PPI next week. We had the jobs data, as we talked about previously. They continue to revise the job numbers lower, lower, lower. Yeah, it's one of those things we talked about. Do you trust the numbers? I mean, I think I trust the numbers about as far as I trust them. You know, I know they always get revised later. They're well-intentioned, but seem to be getting revised lower. We talked about AI taking away jobs. We talked about unemployment rising because of the Feds raising interest rates, and that's a lagging effect. So are you surprised? No. So if you have any questions, again, stick around because we're going to dig deeper into the evidence of what's going on, what I think is going to be possible. And yeah. So if you're part of the Discord room, want to be a part of it, link is in the description below. Please follow on Twitter. Always posting a ton of things, updates, things that I think are important. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do live chats once, twice a week, sometimes more than that, depending on what's going on. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on in the world. If you want to follow, please check it out, because also posting stuff on my website, thetradingagent.com. The Back to Basics series is in sequential order of newer stuff for newer traders to more advanced traders, and also to the link for the Marcus account if you want to get the 5.51% interest rate for your savings account. I keep warning people, please, for the love of God, please get your savings out. You know, get the interest rates up on your money, because you deserve to be getting 5% minimum, because people are getting 0.1%. I'm just boggled by this. Like, your inflation is destroying you. So link is in the description below. It's 3 months at 5.15, then it goes down to 4.15. What I've found is that most people, once they join, they love the app. They notice how Goldman will continue to raise the rates as the market goes higher. It's awesome. I see no reason. Again, get your money under 250, 500 exclusion. Make sure it's FDIC insured. All right, Feds. I mean, is this going up or down? I can't remember as of Friday. Yeah, I mean, you got July 26th rate hike guaranteed at this point. Now, just keep an eye on. We've talked about a million times that can vary with the data. CPI, PPI this week could be interesting. Bank earnings start Friday. Earnings season literally right around the corner. Is the Bitcoin chopping, slopping at the highs? Don't have much to say. Oil, slopping, chopping. Again, could it rally? I mean, it's always possible. I mean, I think I would just watch the top of the range. I personally think that oil is just going to be in the sloppy range. I've been talking about this for 6 months. Same thing with natural gas. I don't trust them. Again, I will love commodities when the Feds start cutting. They're literally anticipating a rate hike in 2 weeks. So why would I want to buy this stuff? The dollar, chopping around, higher highs, higher lows after a monster run last year. TLT. Now again, watch this area, right? We've said holding the 99's key, 99 to 110, trading range. I don't really care too much about the dollar and bonds. I've said this a million times, unless they're making big moves. The markets themselves have not cared. We've talked about this. So the bigger the moves, anticipation, the bigger the chop, right? The bigger the chop, the bigger the move. Sorry. And we've been chopping for a while. So at some point we will break out and up. I personally think I've said this, and I know there's certain people in the Discord room like, hey, I like bonds. When should I buy them? I said the best time to buy them would be the break of this lower end of the range, followed by a trap, bear trap, then rally. Because then I think that's going to happen at some point. The VIX, we talked about bottoming out, chopping out. Some people thought it was crazy to buy the VIX down here or anticipate pullbacks. I mean, you had to be high not to see it coming. I mean, we knew it was coming. It's just a matter of when. Now it's starting to catch bids. Again, you're going into OPEX in 2 weeks. I've said July to me is going to be a choppy month at best. Could be a smash later. We'll see. Again, after the best half for the NASDAQ ever in 6 months, 6-month period, I personally think it's all fluff. It's a pump before the dump. Now again, people are like, oh, you should have seen it coming. It's like, it's hard to fathom this type of move, because if you look at the breadth, tech in itself had its own thing going on. Anyway, we'll talk about it here in a second. VIVIX, talking about it holding the 80s. Looks like it's basing. Looks good. SPY, chopping, right? Weekly candle, not much of anything. We talked about double top, novice gap. I mean, I left it here, and look at Friday's action. I've said this and I'll say it over again. Take note, most jobs days are indecision days, doji days, choppy days. Well, what was Friday? A choppy day. But here's the problem. It filled the gap and it looks ugly. Something's off. QQQ. Here we go. Monster move up, right? Lower highs, fills the gap. I mean, do the math here. Look at this. 263. So, I mean, best 6 months ever. 50% almost, right? Wait, 130. Oh, no, you know, what? They're 34%. That's unreal. Now it's probably due. Watch the 20-day. Just watch the 20-day. Confirm it. IWM, as we talked about, should be much higher. Much, much higher. Lagging. As the Qs went running for the moon, IWM, small caps, small business, small American companies for the most part, acting like crap. M-top, it looks like it's just a matter of when. DIA, again, the Dow, which has a bunch of industrials, bunch of other, it's a broader market index. I mean, it's not getting over the highs. It doesn't look good, y'all. So, gold. Said 1,000 times, leave it alone in the second quarter. Talked about it's probably due to bounce, chop around. July is typically bullish for gold. I mean, we said the 100-day, maybe the 50-day. I mean, all of this stuff. Silver, I mean, it's due for a bounce, but do I trust it? No. Again, the best time to buy the stuff will be when the Fed pivots. We're not there yet. So if you want to play the chop, you go right ahead. I would just leave it alone. GDX, we talked about 200-day, chopping around, double bottom because it rallied back. I mean, it's one of those things where, again, all these things are in this potentiality mode where the risk reward is neither good nor bad for long or short, in my opinion, until they break below or above. And they probably are due to break above to chop around, but again, I still don't trust them. AG, talked about this name. Great name, going nowhere fast. 20-day, leave it alone. AEM, here you go. What do you want to say? What do you want to do? I mean, I personally just leave the stuff alone. I mean, I just think it's going nowhere. Newmont, but this is the thing. If you really got to trade it, I get it, but just don't be delusional to think somehow it's got some monster move in it. It could have a decent move, but all these things are just chopping around. I mean, I just be safe, be thoughtful, be curious. PAAS, same thing. They all look pretty crappy. Let's get into the tech names because, again, this is where I think the rubber meets the road. Taiwan Semi broke the 20-day. The Galaga, blow off top, pew, 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 shooting off the top. I mean, again, watch the 20-day. Micron, terrible earnings. Forecasting, terrible earnings. We talked about this. AI. Pumped all these names. But the thing is that I've said this 1,000 times. I get trolled on this. Chips become a commodity. I'm just telling you, in time. It's just a matter of not when, if when. When. Look at this. This is ugly. Nice rally back with AI giving it up. AM Dizzle, same thing. Competition, it's coming on all chips. Again, AI chips, whatever chips, chocolate chips. They all will make competition. If you're selling really good mint chocolate chips, someone's going to try to copy you. Same thing with semiconductors. 20-day watch it. We talked about bouncing oversold. Talked about it failing the 20-day. I mean, I could see it getting up to 120 if it's going to rally, but I wouldn't trust it. NVIDIA, another day of choppiness, said, please just watch the 20-day for the love of God. Once it breaks it, then you can probably plow all in short if you feel with a tight stop, define risk. Intel, here you go. Again, another blow off top, pew, coming back down. These names all look like crap. SMH rallied all day, hit the 20-day, doink, still under it. That's a good sign for bears. Adobes, we talked about this one, holding up, chopping. Watch the 20-day. Sorry, there's not too much to say. But here, let's talk about Apple, though. Because, again, a lot of people are anticipating, Apple blowing off. Right, we got it. Now it's making lower highs. Keep in mind, post first of the month, post end of quarter chasing, right? Remember we talked about that chasing phenomena, window dressing, getting people to buy the stock to make it look great for their statements. Well, here you go. Something that looks like a blow off top, novice gap. I said this many times. I think you can short it. Just tight stops. Amazon, I mean, they threw in the AI at the end that they're going to do more of it. Great. Watch the 130s. I think that's an easy short. CRM, their CEOs like AI. I'm going to sell $100 million worth of stock. Oops, going sideways. Guggenheim, another AI bandit, made higher, head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Watch the 20-day. The 50-day breaks, it could start opening hard. Meta, this whole thing, Threads, I said I think this is a blow off top for them. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Threads, I mean, even if they add 100 million users, how many people are really going to use it? I don't think it's going to stick around. It's just going to be a nice little feature. I don't think people are going to go all in on it. Microsoft, because again, I think the company, the brand, people don't trust Facebook. I'm sorry, they just don't. Meta, Microsoft, watch it. NDAQ, as we've said 1,000 times, this company is going to be paving the way for why the NASDAQ does not trade well. Tech will not trade because, again, the future of tech after a bubble is what? It's not going to trade as well. Like, you have to remember, like, things rotate. So tech, NASDAQ itself as an exchange, volumes are going to be dying, continuing to die. It just is what it is. Rotation. I think commodities and industrials and banks are going to be the next bull market leaders. MicroStrategy. We talked about, all right, Bitcoin's holding up. This is holding up. We talked about that. Keep it simple, stupid kind of thing. So far, when I'm zooming out, trying to look around, I don't see much. I don't see any reason to sell it other than taking profits, but also would be aware if you think Bitcoin's going to pull back, you might want to start selling covered calls, hedging if needed. Netflix, talked about this being a joke of a blow off top. Wedbush at the high, upgrades it. Meh. Roblox, love the name at lower prices. I just can't wrap my head around what you would want to do with that at this point. It's just going sloppy sideways. Tesla, nice blow off top, getting close enough to the trend line. Is it done? I don't know. Keep an eye on it because I think at some point, again, does it need a chop top? Typically does. But this is interesting. You have a novice gap. See, this is what I'm concerned that like it's going to do. Novice gap, hit the trend line. Here's the novice gap, but all it takes is one silly upgrade. One morning we wake up, maybe it's Monday or Tuesday morning, somebody upgrades them and says, Tesla's going to sell a lot of cars. Cool story. We'll see what happens. All right, materials ran up on the China stimulus. Profit taking. Sideways action. Nothing. I mean, I personally think a lot of these names, I think they're great shorts, but in my opinion, I will like them better as a buys later. Here you go. Nucor, blow off top. Keep in mind you're coming into earnings. Caterpillar ran real quick. Chopping, lower highs. Said watch the 20-day. So far it's holding. VALE, another global growth name that is just so strong. No. Looks like crap. Copper, Arrow, not too bad. Holding up. This is a name I think in the long term when it pulls back, I'd love to own it for the long term. CCJ. Uranium, I told the uranium folks, just be careful up here. You're all anticipating something that's not going to happen, in my opinion. Wait for the pullbacks. Wait. CF, again, we like ag, but choppy, sloppy, holding the 50-day so far. I mean, it's one of those things where if you have to trade it, go right ahead. I just don't see monster upside. I see a lot of capitulate or chop. Mosaic, nice. Again, all these names got nice pops, little volume. I've said this for weeks. The bottom's probably going to be choppy unless it's going to be a blow-off bottom. And the blow-off bottom would come probably when the Feds pivot. We're chopping here. Don't be surprised by some good bounces. It's totally normal. AA, right? Another global growth name. I mean, is it due to bounce? I mean, you could argue that for all these names. Financials starting to crack, right? Starting to crack. Talked about this. Look at today's action. Another wick and coming right back under the 200-day. KRE, we've talked about this one, oversold bounce and then like failing. I mean, junior banks. The credit crisis is not a one day event. Once it starts, it just gets worse, and it gets worse, and it gets worse. JP Morgan, talked about blow off top, earnings coming later this week. Keep an eye on it. Be safe, be thoughtful, okay? Morgan Stanley, let it go. Again, JP Morgan has earnings on Friday. Chopping, I mean, a lot of these names look like just they're basing. They're waiting for earnings. And remember earnings last time? I'm pretty sure was in April. I mean, it's not really looking so hot. Not so hot. Just keep that in mind. Goldman Sachs, another one. Just none of these names really look good. Holding trend so far. If you have to play the bounce, maybe you get one. Just trading in a range. We talked about KRE. Let's look at the XBI. We talked about baby bios breaking their channel. They just look stuck, y'all. I mean, they just don't look good. If it breaks this 200 day, look out below. There's nothing left. The support may be down into like the 78s, and you got 75s. All right, what's next? Solar. Now, we talked about solar and what it is. Talked about at highs, short it. Be aware that if the market holds up chopping around, it's not going to fail. So far, 10 is holding. ENPH, another one that we talked about, 20, 50-day cross, backing off. I personally think there's better names as short. I'd rather see a bigger pop, or let the bottom drop out of it. Because if the bottom drops out, all those people bought the last 6 months, wrong. Sedgerton, another one. Again, rallies, talked about the short here, boom. Talked about the fake breakdown, the fake rally, now it's chopping. Now, don't be surprised. Again, if it holds up, chops, that's part of it. First Solar, same thing. We talked about it, oversold. I guess technically oversold, rallying. Again, I'd watch this mid 190s if you get up there. We got pretty close. 194, I think we got into today. If you shorted it, cool. I mean, again, don't be surprised, though. If the market chops around, this thing could chop, too. I like the shorts on this a lot. HYG, talked about corporate debt looking like crap. Dangerous, right? Look at it rally today. Back over the trend, then failed. Corporate debt's telling you the temperature of what? Risk on, risk off. High yield debt, not good. Oil chopping around. I mean, again, I don't see a ton of downside. I don't see a ton of upside. Natural gas, same thing. XOP, we've talked about it. I think you can short range highs with stops, but is it really that lucrative? I don't know. I would just wait for all this stuff to get absolutely blasted. ExxonMobil, man, on a day where oil is up and also not really looking so hot. We talked about if you short it up in the 116, 118 range, you're just hanging out. PX Dizzle, chopping, chop, 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 chop. Nothing really to say here. I mean, a lot of these names feel very similar. Oxy, Buffett's just loving it, selling covered calls, just letting everybody excited, knowing he's buying so much, but he's just printing money, printing millions of dollars a week to buy more shares. That's just the nature of that gangster. EQT, we've talked about a 40 area, probably going to take a little break. Watch the 20-day. Last but not least, Flex LNG with amazing dividend. Again, I think we'll be long-term exporters of natural gas. At this point in the cycle, keep in mind, CPI coming up, data is weakening. Feds are going to have to pivot at some point, but they're raising rates because of the jobs numbers, the ADP. They're stuck in a pickle. I've said this 1,000 times. The Feds do not navigate soft landings. They never have navigated soft landings. So if you're anticipating such, you're going against the grain. And if they do somehow navigate it, then you know what? You're wrong in trading. That's what happens. Whenever in doubt, define your risk, have stops, and do the best you can. If you have any questions, please reach out. I appreciate all the love, support, and generous donations. Have a good one. Talk to you soon. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.